As a wedding videographer or a wedding photographer, it can be super frustrating trying to generate leads for your business. Most people in the industry are actually relying on other people to bring in their leads. So you might be relying on a couple's wedding who you've just shot to refer you to the friends and family, the people who are getting married next, or you might be inside of Facebook groups waiting for another business to actually post a lead when they're already booked on that wedding date. But this is never a good strategy for you to grow and scale your own business. So what I want to do is share with you how to scale and grow your own business by generating leads through Facebook ads. And there's a huge misconception in the industry that you can't generate high quality leads through Facebook ads. However, recently, I've spent £1,500 on Facebook ads and I've generated a little over £20,000 worth of wedding bookings. And I'm going to show you our Thunderdome system that we've developed to run Facebook ads, which allows you to actually scale effectively, where you're going to be generating high quality leads. So you're really taking control of your own lead generation rather than relying on other people. This strategy that we use, that we call the Thunderdome system, is being tried and tested with hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. At the minute, we've got one ad account where we're actually spending $130,000 per month using this exact same strategy to generate leads. And I'm going to share with you the same methods that we use to generate those leads so you can do this yourself. Just before we dive into the ads manager, I want to explain what the Thunderdome system actually is, because it's important to have a good understanding of the way you're going to set up your Facebook ad campaign. The Thunderdome system is basically 3 creatives, 2 pieces of copy and 2 headlines on your Facebook ad. Now, your 3 creatives could be 2 videos and 1 image. It could be 2 images and 1 video. It depends how you want to set it up. However, the concept that I'm currently running and the way that I set up my ads is I have the same video 3 times, but I only change the first 3 seconds. So the first 3 seconds on all 3 videos actually changes each time. And the reason I'm doing that is I know how important it is that you grab attention through your creative on Facebook. And the first 3 seconds is usually what's going to grab the attention of your audience. So variation 1 of the video, the dad just walks in the room by himself. The second variation is showing the bride by herself. And the third variation is showing the father and the daughter together. And then it cuts to the rest of the video. After the first 3 seconds, the rest of the video is exactly the same. And what I'm testing here is to find out what is the best hook, the best first 3 seconds that's grabbing attention. And we've actually created a custom metric inside of Facebook which tells us if this is getting attention or not. It's actually 3-second video views divided by impressions, but we'll not get into that in this video. That will be another video later down the line. I also have 2 pieces of copy. The copy again is exactly the same. I only ever change the hook at the very top so I can find out what part of the title actually grabs attention and works best. And then at the very bottom of the ad where the headline goes next to the button, I test 2 variations of that. Now, because you've got 3 creatives, you've got 2 pieces of copy and you've got 2 headlines, this gives Facebook 12 different ads to play with. So Facebook will create 12 different variations, putting them all together, and the whole point of the Thunderdome system is to figure out which campaign, which variation, actually works the best. And then what we do from that, once we've got out of this concept, so this concept is the dad revealed of the daughter in her wedding dress, once we find out the best winning combination of those 3 ads, we will then either make another dad reveal, so it could be from a different wedding, and we'll use the exact same concept. So if it works out where the dad walking in the room first is the best, we'll make sure that that ad is made with the dad walking in the room for the next one. And then we'll allow those 2 ads to fight each other to see which one works the best. You can also then introduce another concept, and when I mean new concept, I mean rather than a dad reveal, it might be the couple walking outside. That's a different concept. The bride walking down the aisle. That's a different concept. But it's really important that you only ever test one concept at a time, and then they keep getting put into a winning campaign to fight all of the winners. Now, by doing this, it means when your winning ads start to fatigue, we are already testing new ads ready to put into play, but they're already in play, and the best ones is what we will always run with. Now, one thing that people do quite a lot when running Facebook ads, even if you just boost in posts, which you should never do, by the way, don't boost or set them up correctly in the ads manager, is they will show the show reel. So they'll have the show reel or they'll have a full wedding. But what you need to remember is that people aren't on Facebook to go and book a wedding photographer or a wedding videographer. They're on there because they're bored and they're just scrolling. And this is why using short concepts like a dad reveal or walking down the aisle is the best way to grab their attention. Then we'll get them to click the link to your website, then they'll view your show reel or other wedding highlight reels or wedding albums when they get to there. The mistake that people make is they try and sell on the very first ad, but what you need to be doing is building up that rapport and relationship with the audience before they're going to trust you and decide if they want you at their wedding or not. So you don't want to be going for the hard sale straight away. What you want to be doing is actually getting them interested, grab their attention, and then show them your work at a later date. If they don't fill in the contact form there and then, you can run retargeting ads, that's fine, but you just need to make sure that you've got a good strategy in place, which is grabbing attention, retaining attention, then they're clicking the link over to your website or the lead form if you are running that strategy. Any questions that you do have, make sure you get them in the comments section. I'm always happy to answer them for you. If you're not in our Facebook group, Get Seen, Get Booked, the link is in the description below. Make sure you click and join that. Jamie and I are always on hand to answer any questions throughout the week, but we do go live every single Wednesday at 12 o'clock on topics which are specifically related to the wedding industry for wedding videographers and photographers. We are here to help you guys take control of your own lead generation and get those bookings coming in. So let's jump straight over to the Facebook Ads Manager. Once you are on your Facebook Ads Manager, we're going to hit this green Create button across on the left-hand side. And Facebook's going to give you a new message, or you might have already been on Ads Manager and you might have already crossed this off. We want to take full control at the minute of our ad campaigns. So we're going to select our own campaign objective. And the 6 that Facebook give you are awareness, traffic, engagement, leads, app promotion, and sales. Now, when I'm speaking to people in the wedding industry, or people have posted their ad campaigns inside of our private Facebook group for review, a lot of the time people are running traffic campaigns because, and I understand the theory of why you might want to do this, because you think, right, I'm running an ad and the whole goal is I want to get people across to the website and I want them to complete the form, that's the contact form that's on my website. So you'll go traffic. However, if you do this, Facebook is going to optimize your ad for people who are more likely to just click on the link. But what we actually want to do is we want to optimize for leads, because Facebook are then going to optimize for people that they know are more likely to hand over their contact details. You might also have, depending on what strategy you're running and depending on what campaign it is, you might go for a conversions campaign. Sometimes on a different strategy, you might want to go engagement, where you're trying to get some social proof on your ads and you're trying to get some video views on there as well. However, we always optimize for the goal that we want, and this is the end goal that we want, and that's for leads, because Facebook has so many different data points on people. They really do know the people who are more likely to optimized for leads or not. So we're going to click on the leads for our campaign objective and we're going to hit continue. Again, it's given us a tailored leads campaign. We don't want to touch this at the moment. We want to manually leads. We want to set up our manual campaign for leads. So I'm going to select the manual option and press continue. And this is just going to load up our campaign so we can start putting this in together. Now, in here, you must start to name your campaigns in a way that you are at a later date going to be able to come back to your campaign and you're going to be able to search through your ads and know exactly what it is. Now, I've actually saved a document with our current campaign that we have running, and I'm just going to paste this in. Now, you don't need to name your ads exactly like this, and I can talk you through what it means, but we do this in a particular way, so it means that if we want to come back to our ads at a later date, we can really filter them using Facebook's filter system inside of Ads Manager. So ATA is just the company name. Level 1 is a cold audience, so we're going to be pushing this out to people who are never going to know, they're not going to really know who we are, they've not interacted with any of our ads before. If I was doing a retargeting campaign, this would then be called a level 2 because they are a warm audience. And I'm saying that this is our wedding Thunderdome system. It's the first one that I've run, and I'm running for conversions, which is going to be leads in this instance. And We actually call this CBO, but Facebook have changed the name now from Campaign Budget Optimization to Advanced Campaign Budget. You don't really need to know that much about this at this stage. I'm just going over the file name, and we always put the date that we ran this campaign. So I'm just going to change that to the 6th because I actually launched this new campaign for us on the 4th. That's why I had that date in. You don't need to worry about special ad categories. You do want to make sure that on this section, your leads, your campaign objective is selected correctly. At this point, we're not doing any A/B split testing because the way we set up our ad campaigns using the Thunderdome method, using dynamic creative inside of Facebook, it actually does the split testing for us. So just keep this unticked at the moment, but we do actually want to tick on Ad Advantage Campaign Budget. This is what used to be called Campaign Budget Optimization before Facebook actually changed the name, but it is the same thing. And one thing that I do see people use quite a lot is a lifetime budget. However, I strongly advise using a daily budget, and sometimes people do say, okay, what if I actually forget about my budget? Well, if you forget, it's going to spend a lot of money. However, you really need to take control of your ads and you need to be monitoring them daily so you can then best scale them when they are performing well and scale them back when the performance isn't where you want them to be. So pick what daily budget you would like to spend. £20, it could be £10, it could be £5, but you do need to know that the more you spend, the quicker you can test. The quicker you test, the quicker you're going to find out your winning results and you can start generating those leads. So just scroll down, click on more options. I'm just going to show you what they are. There's nothing in here that we need to use because we want to run our ads all of the time. So that is the first section set up, and I'm just going to hit next, and this is going to take us to our ad set name. So effectively, this is where you are telling Facebook where you want to send the traffic and what performance you're going to optimize for, but you also in this level can select your audience as well. However, we are not going to do interest-based audience because it doesn't work anymore. We are going to go completely broad, which we call BANT. It stands for Broad Audience No Targeting. And the reason that we don't do interest targeting anymore is because the Facebook algorithm is so intelligent. It even when Facebook used to do interest-based targeting, and when it was popular, it got to a point where Facebook used to let you tick a box to say, do you want us to target outside of your interests? Now, Facebook don't even give you that option. If you do select interests, Facebook will target outside of the interest because they do know what people are looking at on their platform. So we don't actually need to set up any interests at all. We're just going to set up the actual demographics. So let's just start this page from the very top, and we're going to name the ad set. So I'm just going to copy this across just for quickness on this. So our ad set name is, now in this ad set, and like I talked about previously, the whole point of the Thunderdome method is that we are going to test concepts against each other until we find what concepts perform the best. So just for this ad that we're setting up, I'm testing a dad reveal, and this is where the father walks into the room and sees his daughter dressed in her wedding dress for the very first time. And the reason that I'm running this concept as my first test is because I know from organic content that I've got on YouTube Shorts that this has currently had about 130,000 views, and the next two videos after that are all actually dad reveals. So I know this concept works really well organically, so it makes sense for me to run this dynamic creative to find out what variation of the dad reveal with, along with me copying the headlines, works the best. Once I find out the winning concept from this ad, what I'll then do is I'll introduce a new concept to test, and it might be the couple walking outside, it could be the bride coming down the aisle, and then I'll find a winning concept from that, and I'll test that winning concept against the dad reveal. And this is why the Thunderdome system is so special, because it works. It allows Facebook to optimize the platform correctly, so it's always testing new concepts against the winning concept, so you always know that you've got the best ads in play. And this is why we spend $130,000 in just one account using this method, because we're always testing new concepts against a winning concept that's been proven. So
The name DC, because I know I'm going to be running dynamic creative. Dad reveal, this is going back so I can search if I want to have a look at all my dad reveal ads later on. Level 1, because it's a cold audience. Band, broad audience, no targeting. Now I'm going to set up the demographics of the individuals, the people that I want to target. So I just want to target the north of England, and I want not females, it's open, male and females who are 23 up. So it'll be 23 to 65, and I'm just doing conversion, which is obviously 4 leads that we want, and it's a 7-day click, 1-day view on the attribution. Now on this bit here, you can do an instant form. This is where Facebook will not send them to your website, but if they click the button on your ad, it'll present a form, and you might want to test this. However, I'm going to actually set up this campaign to go to the website because this is getting sent to a level 1 audience. I don't want to ask for the sale or anything at this point in time. I'm going to let the retargeting ad do this. What I am going to do is send them to my wedding films page, and I'm going to actually hope that they're going to watch more of my content, the wedding highlights on there. And then what I want them to do is click through the website, go to the contact form themselves, fill it in, then they become a lead. At this point, I'm trying to warm them up. I'm trying to build a relationship with the audience rather than just trying to get a sale. Because one thing you've got to remember is if you're running Facebook ads, the brides and grooms to be are almost certainly seeing your competitors' ads. So that's why it's super important that you build up a relationship with them. And you can do this with your ad copy and your headlines, and then get them to your website, let them go to the contact form themselves. If they don't do that, you can then send them a retargeting ad, which is going to send them a follow-up with a stronger call to action to actually get them to sign up as a lead and fill in your contact form. So I'm going to select as our conversion, I'm going to go for websites. That's what I want. On this drop down here, I'm just going to go, there are other goals that you can select, but I want maximum number of conversions. Of course, we want the maximum number of leads that you can get. You can see that it's already pulling through our Facebook pixel. Make sure that you do have your Facebook pixel set up correctly. We will do another video on this. Let me know in the comments if you're not sure about the Facebook pixel. We can help you out with this. You can even post inside of our private Facebook group to get support with that. I'm just going to come down and select our conversion event, and we are going to select lead. Now, this lead event is being pulled through the Facebook pixel because what happens is the Facebook pixel is used to learn and build data up on the people that are coming across to your website. And this is how Facebook has so much information on people, because a lot of websites, hopefully all websites that they don't, but hopefully you all will have the Facebook pixel installed. And what happens is as soon as someone fills in our contact form on our website and they land on the thank you page, the Facebook pixel then triggers this as a lead, and then Facebook starts to learn the type of people that are filling in our contact form. And then it means Facebook can then optimize your ads for the people who are more than likely to fill in your contact form. So that's why we always go for the conversion goal of what the end goal is going to be. So I'm just going on more options here. You can see that 7 days after clicking on 1-day view, this is the attribution. So if anyone clicks on your ad and then they fill in the form within 7 days, this is going to come back as a lead. Outside of 7 days, if they fill in your form, it will not be attributed to the Facebook ad, and you won't see that in the ads manager. But on my website form, I do have a section saying where did you hear about us, like Facebook, Google, referral, and this will usually tell you Facebook if they have came through a Facebook ad. About this bit here is super important for the Thunderdome system. So you want to make sure that you have dynamic creative on, and press continue. Now, what dynamic creative is going to do is we are going to load into the ads manager 3 videos, 2 pieces of copy, and 2 headlines. And Facebook is going to make 12 ads, 3 times 2 times 2. Facebook will make 12 different ads, and it'll test them all, and it's going to find out what the winning combination is. And this is why it's important, because we're testing creatives, we're testing copy, and we're testing headlines. And this is what makes the Thunderdome system so special. We're using dynamic creative because once we find out the winner of this concept, we then introduce a new winning concept to test against this. When do you want your ads to actually start? I never set an end date. I always just monitor this daily, so I always just leave this because I want to make sure I'm on top of my ads and I know what's happening all of the time. You don't need to introduce any spending limits at this point. So, moving on to the audience section. Now, this bit's pretty important, your location, because if you're a wedding videographer or photographer and you are going all over the UK and you're quite happy to do that, that is great. leave it. This will target the whole of the UK for you. However, I will shoot all over the country, but my preference is to shoot in the north of England. So I'm going to go on edit on here. I'm going to search locations. So I'm going to start off in South Shields because that is where I'm from. So South Shields, United Kingdom. And I'm just going to turn this up to 80 kilometers. And you can see here that it's put a radius about where it's going to target. Now, I generally like to target the north of England round about Leeds. So what I'll tend to do is I'll start to fill this in. So I'll go Leeds because I know that's the most it's not the most southern point actually, because I will go Manchester, Liverpool. But I'll just show you what I do. So Leeds, select that up there. And then what you can do, if you want to start filling in these little areas that haven't been included, you can press drop pin. You can drop a pin on there. That's then going to come up here with the coordinates, and you can just change this up to 80 kilometers. And you can start to fill this in how you want. You can see there's a little gap on the right-hand side of the border here. So I'm going to drop a pin on that section as well. And I'm just going to fill this in. Don't worry about the overlap. They will all be included. But make sure you've got the areas included that you want to cover. Because this is where Facebook are going to present your ads. But this bit's important as well. Now, people living in this location or recently in this location. Now, the only problem with this option is that if someone's travelled to see friends and family, they might live down in Kent. So that means they might see your ad and it might not be relevant. So I do like to change this to people living in this location. There are other things that you can do, like a little strategy, a little tip going off a little bit here, but like people recently in this location, you could drop a pin if there's been like a wedding fair going on and you know there's been thousands of people there. You can run ads to do things like that. But for the purpose of this Thunderdome method, you don't need to worry about that for now. Select people living in this location, pick where you want to target, make sure you've got the radius. That's going to come up on the map and you can make sure you've got the correct locations selected. Age, I like to go for 23 and up because I feel like just based on the audience who I'm going to target and the brides who I generally shoot weddings for, they are generally 23 but probably a little bit older than 23. I could probably get away with 25 or 26, but I do like to do 23 and up just in case. Again, we're going to keep this as all genders and detailed targeting. We are not going to include any targeting at all. It's really tempting for you to start entering interests like wedding dress and wedding videography, wedding photography. But if you start including wedding videographers and photographers, it's going to include your own industry, business owners in there as well. And like I said, the Facebook algorithm is so intelligent, we don't need to give it any detailed targeting. We're going for BANT, broad audience, no targeting, because we know that this works best. And as for placements, we're just going to keep this as Advantage Plus placements and recommended, and we're going to allow Facebook to decide where it's going to actually place our content. I'll just show you the more options in here, but we're not actually going to use anything in. There's nothing in the more options that you need to know for this ad that we are creating. So that is all of this section done. So we've got the ad set up, which is where we're going to do. We're selecting for websites. We've set the conversion for leads. We've set our budget schedule just to run. We've ticked on dynamic creative because that's super important. And then we have selected the location, people living in this location, select the age. We are not doing any detailed targeting and we are using Advantage Plus placements. Hit the next button in the right. Actually, just before I hit the next, you can see here that it's giving you an estimated audience size. Generally speaking, because we're running a broad audience, it is going to be larger numbers, but as Facebook realizes what our ad copy and creatives are, they'll start feeding it out to the correct people. So press next, and this is now going to take us to our ad level. So this is where we are actually putting in the ads that we have created. So what I like to do is I've got a document where I've already come up with my ad copy variations. I've also selected my headlines. So I have this written out because what we actually do is we generally will write the ad copy before we actually do the creatives. Now, you might already have the creatives done, which is fine because you are in the wedding industry and doing creatives is your actual job. So you've probably got a lot of video content and photography, or photos if you are a photographer. So just have a think about you've always got to be aware of the strategy that you're running. This strategy is for dad reveal. It really brings out that emotion and it really captures the attention of the audience, which is the actual goal here. So let's just get this filled in. So I'm going to get my ad name. And I'm just going to run through the ad name and talk about it so you can see why, again, for the filtering systems. So I'll put vid because it's a video ad that I'm running. Dad reveal is the concept. Rebecca and Mark is just whose wedding I actually shot. I've got the venue, so it was at Shotton Grange. I've put title on here because you're going to see the creatives have got an actual title in the first 3 seconds. They've got the hook on the actual video because this is a test that I want to test out. And I'm using hook 1, which refers just to the first hook that I've written. And I've always put on here 9:16, which is the aspect ratio. It's just so we can actually filter by aspect ratios to see what is performing the best at a later date if we want to. This is not branded content, so leave that unticked. You do want to select the Instagram account. It should automatically pull it through if you have linked it inside of your business manager. If you haven't done that, make sure you do it because Facebook will serve ads to Facebook as well as Instagram as well. So this is just your creative source. So we're going to select on what we want. So we want to do a manual upload here. So we'll just leave that here. Single image or video. We're not doing a carousel, so you want to leave this ticked. So this is where you are going to select your assets, your creative assets. Now, for this campaign, I'm actually going to test 3 different videos. It's the same video, but 3 different versions of it. And the video actually just has the first 3 seconds is different on each video. Because what I'm doing here is I'm testing which part of the video works best. So what first 3 seconds works best. And once I know that, I can then start to build that up for future concepts. So I'm testing the father walking in by himself. I'm testing the bride being shown first. And then the third test is showing the father, the dad, and the bride in the shot together. So this is the first 3 seconds that actual people see when they see the ad campaign, depending on the dynamic creative of what ad Facebook is currently serving people. Now, what's great about the dynamic creatives is they might see the dad walking in first to begin with, but then Facebook might automatically retarget on the Thunderdome campaign, showing the bride and the father in the same shot. And it might be that one that gets the click. So it will start to work out which one gets the better click-through rates over to the website. So this is why the dynamic creative and the Thunderdome method is so important. So you can actually select your images or select your videos. I'm going to select videos. I've actually preloaded this into the assets manager, but you can simply press the upload button here to upload your videos. I like to upload the assets into the assets media manager within Facebook Business Suite, but you can just simply press upload on there if you like. So I'm going to go to business and I've started organizing them. So I'm going to go to short clips. And you can see I've started to get all my different concepts saved already in here. So I'm going to go dad reveal. And these are the ones for the Thunderdome. And you'll see that we've got 3 different versions. That are in HD, 1080 by 1920. This is also 9:16, which is story mode, vertical shot. And this is the best way we like to set it up. But one thing you do need to be aware of, and I'm going to just show you about this, is when you are using 9:16, you need to be aware that if you put any text or the heads too close to the top, when Facebook actually optimize for 4x4 for 4x5 for a different placement, their head or text may be cut off. So this is something you've got to test. We've got a template called the red zone where you can drag over your template in Premiere Pro or whatever video software that you are using to edit your video in, and you can see if you are clear of that. If you want that template, just let me know in the side of the private Facebook group and I'll absolutely send that link to you. So just coming down here, there's this option that's automatically selected that says optimize creative for each person. You want to tick this off. And this is the reason why you want to tick this off, because I'm clicking on see possibilities here. Now, the whole purpose of the Thunderdome system is that we are doing the 3x2x2 method, which is 3 creatives, 2 bits of copy and 2 headlines. Now, if you have this option on, Facebook is now going to create a million different versions of your video, which is optimized for individual people. Now, I'm not saying that this won't work. I'm just saying I want to have a tight control on the testing that Facebook's doing, and I want to know out of the 3 creatives which one's the best, out of me 2 headlines and me 2 copy, and then out of the 12 I can start to build on my creative concepts and copy from there. So in here, this is where you're going to put the copy, and this is when I say copy, this is the text that goes above the actual video, and I'm going to show you an example in Ads Preview in a minute once I've put this in. So I'm going to get my first bit of copy first. Just to talk about the copy here, by the way, guys, is the copy that I use is exactly the same The only thing that I actually change in this test is the very first headline, is this bit here, because this is the bit that people see first. So I'm testing what hook, what headline captures their attention the best. So it's always about testing. Everything else will stay the same. So when I go back to here, I'm just going to paste this in. And you can see that it's copied it in. And now I want to add text option. So I want to add more. So you can see it's given us another option to add in here. So I'm going to go back to my document. I want to scroll down, add copy to. And you can see that the top bit is different. But after that, everything else is exactly the same. So copy that. I always like to have it written out first. And I want to paste that into there. And this bit here, you can add, you can actually add more options, but remember for our Thunderdome method, we're doing the 3 times 2 times 2 method. So 2 bits of copy are in there. Now the headline, and this is the bit that comes on the bottom, I'm going to show you in Ads Preview in a second once I've got this in. So I've got my headline 1. And Ads Manager, I'm going to paste that in. I want to add another headline option, and I'm going to go and get headline number 2. And I want to talk about these in a second. So in here, oh, sorry, that's in the wrong one. Don't put it in there. Make sure you put it in that one there. You don't need to worry about description on this section here, but you do need to make sure that you're putting your website URL in. So this is the website that Facebook is going to send the audience once they actually click on your ad. So make sure that you've got this in. Now, if you're sending them to your website, you must think about what page you are sending them to. Now, I'm actually sending them here to my weddings page, which has got wedding films on, because I want them, after I've grabbed their attention with the Facebook ad, I then want them to watch more of my wedding highlight reels to really build that relationship and rapport with them, so they feel like, right, this is the guy that I want to shoot my wedding. And then, like I said, we do have a retargeting ad if they don't fill it in there and then, but don't send them to the home page if it's not optimized for the ads correctly. You might, if you are, you can send them direct to the contact page if you want, but I like to build more of a relationship with them first, and I want them to watch more of my content, just because I know that that's really going to draw them in more by doing that. So now what I'm going to do is hit Ad Preview, and you can see now that it's bringing through the actual ad previews on all of the different placements. So you can see that the first 3 seconds on there, it had the title on there. It is just showing one of the variations. If you want to see what they look like, the 3 different creatives that we've selected, you can go on Advanced Preview, and on here on Media, you can choose which one you want to see first. It'll just load all of them up that way. If you want to select text, you can see what the different text looks like by selecting that. So by using Advanced Preview, you can see what your ad is going to look like on all of the different placements. And it's important to check this, because the first time I actually done this, I didn't forget about the red zone. I was just a little bit careless, and the text was getting cut off when it was on 4x5. So I had to go and re-edit the ad to move the text up so it was clear. And the reason I'm testing this is because I run this concept on YouTube Shorts organically, not paid ads, and it performed extremely well. So always go with what you know has worked previously in your first test, because it's the best starting point that you can actually have. So going back to the Ads Manager, you don't need to have the display link inside of here. And what is really important when you scroll down is your call to action button. This is when you are on here. It's the button that appears at the very bottom. Now, we know through testing that Learn More is the best one to use in this instant for lead generation. Remember, we're not trying to sell them anything at this stage. We're getting their attention, and we want them to learn more about us as a wedding videographer or photographer. So we know that Learn More works best. It's a lot less salesy. You're not saying get in touch now. On the retargeting ad, you might say learn more, call now, or you might use one of the other options like book now or contact us. You may want to test different ones, but I like to use learn more because I know that it does work. You can add other options if you want, and then Facebook will test them to see what runs best. I've already done these tests using hundreds of thousands of pounds of ad spend, and I know that Learn More does work the best. So we are going to use Learn More for this. It should automatically have your Facebook pixel selected. If it's not, you do need to select it from here. This bit is super important, and a lot of people just leave it. This is your UTM parameters, okay? Now, on your UTM parameters, okay, we want to make sure that we are tracking where people are coming from. And It'll do this automatically if you use the UTM codes. So this means if you've got Google Analytics on your website, you can see how many people are clicking on this ad and then making it across to your website. And it's a really good way. Once you start running a lot of campaigns, I mean, no matter how many campaigns you're running, you should always be tracking every link. Don't worry if you don't understand this correctly. I can do another video explaining this in more depth. But what I've already done, we've created the code here for you that we know that you need to use for this. So again, ask me if you want this. I'm going to give you this code just to simply copy and paste in here, and it's going to work. And that'll work every time. So once you've got it once, that is going to actually work. So I've got the UTM, and that's going to actually, there is a UTM parameter in here, a builder that you can use if you want to use the builder, but you don't actually need to use that because I've given you the code that you can simply just copy and paste in here. So that is the ad actually set up, and it is ready to publish. But I just want to run over a couple of things first of all, just to show you why we've done this. So once you, just going back to the 3-2-2 method, I've done 3 different creatives. This is one video concept, and I've just changed the first 3 seconds. You can only ever change one thing at a time going forward, because if you change multiple things and your ad improves, you do not know what element of the ad it was that actually worked. So at this stage, we're just trying to find out what is the best combination. So 3 different videos. You could throw an image in here to test if you wanted to, but for my test, I want to know what hook is working the best. Make sure you've got this unticked, must be unticked. The copy that I've used is exactly the same on both variations, but all I've done is change the top. Remember, I'm not doing what a lot of people do. They'll be saying things like, book now for your wedding videography or photography, get in touch now for a free quote. It doesn't work like that. We're going to do another video which is specific to writing copy. But just to give a high level overview, I'm just trying to paint a picture to them about what this might be like. So I wrote capture every emotion, relive every moment, even the ones you miss. So it starts to get the cogs turning when they're looking at your ad about, oh, do you know what? I don't want to miss anything in my wedding. I do want to relive it. So they might go on and read more. I've got the long copy in here because some people like to read long copy. Some people hate it and they'll not read it all. They'll just watch the video and then click. So I like to capture both types of people. And you can see on the second one, I've tested a different hook, just saying, I'll never forget the look on my dad's face. I'm so glad we captured this moment. And this was a quote from a bride that I did shoot a wedding for, and she left this in a review. And then everything else onwards is exactly the same. Again, there's no hard selling here. I'm just going with emotion and painting the picture, what it would be like to have your wedding videoed, okay? It's about reliving them moments, capturing your family's emotions. And this is what people remember. People buy from emotion. So that you want to keep well away from the selling unless it's a higher level audience where they're red hot and they know who you are already. The headline, which comes along the bottom next to the button, next to the learn more, I've said relive every moment of your wedding day, and then there'll be a learn more button. But I'm also testing, it's like pressing play on my wedding photos. Again, the learn more button will be right next to that. You can see that they have just switched back. That makes more sense. So you can see the first option, the first option is appear, relive every moment of your wedding day, learn more. But Facebook will also be testing, it's like pressing play on my wedding photos. So again, you need to come up with your own concepts. I don't mind sharing the concepts that I'm running. You can actually go and see them anytime by using the Facebook ads library anyway. But I just like to be open and transparent with this YouTube channel, and I really want to help you guys do it. So I'm always happy to share the copy that I'm doing. It might give you some ideas or inspiration for your own campaigns. So make sure you've got them two in. Facebook's going to test them both. Make sure you got your website URL. Make sure you send them to a page that you want for your strategy. I want them to watch more of my wedding films at this point. But I am optimizing for people who are likely to become a lead. So they'll watch it, then go and fill in that form. But I do have a retargeting ad based on website visitors and video views to pick those people up. And that is pretty much everything you've got. Once you've selected your button, you've got your pixel and tracking all selected, and you've copied and pasted the UTM parameters in. So give this a go, guys. Set up your Facebook ads and then keep in touch with us in the Facebook group. Get seen, get booked. If you're not inside that group, make sure you get in. The link is going to be in the description. And we're always happy to review your creatives, review your ads. We are going to be making more video content about how you can then analyze these ad campaigns and what to do on the next steps. But this ad was purely about creating the Facebook campaign to get yourself set up and running your ads. We are going to be doing future videos about the metrics and then how you actually go about setting up the winning concepts and doing more testing with new concepts after this one has worked. But make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Make sure you switch on the notifications. And like I said, always happy to answer questions. But thanks for watching, guys.